Hey, what's going on there, YouTube world? Thank you guys very much for stopping by. This is HOUTX Trader. My name is Nick. Please do me a favor. Please smash the like and subscribe button and help me out grow this channel. This is for training only. This is not financial advice. But today we are going to take a look at the markets. This is March 10th before the market opens on a Sunday. So we're going to look at NASDAQ and we're going to look at US 30. We're going to leave gold alone because it's going crazy. We'll look at some Forex pairs. We'll look at some crypto real quick and we're just going to get an idea of what the market's going to do. So tomorrow, when we start trading, we'll be well prepared. Okay, so let's just share my screen. Da, da, da. And before we get into all of the nitty gritty, let's look at this real quick, guys. This is the economic calendar for next week. I go to my FX book to do my economic calendar. And so there's no news on Monday. We have news on Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday. So probably a slower week, maybe just a continuation of what's already happened. In the description below or in the comments, you'll see my dot card. And if you go to the dot card, this is YouTube, Twitter, Instagram. The broker that I use, the excuse me, the funded company I use, the broker I use, a couple of Discords, and a link to Telegram that I'm active in. And of course, there's the Instagram. Here's the YouTube page, and here is the good old Twitters. Okay, so let's get right into this, guys, with NASDAQ. Okay, so we obviously know the NASDAQ is very bullish. So looking for sells is a bit risky. Okay. Well, also, we want to look real quick, and let me just run down what my interpretation of liquidity is. Anytime you guys have a double top like this is now a target. So the sales off of a double top, all right, after a double top are not very good because it's going to come down and then it's going to shoot right through the double top, just like it did here, guys, just like it did here. This was a double top, came down a little bit, shot right through it. So we are not looking to take sells on double tops, or especially after the double tops happen, a triple top, because then it's just going to come right through. So having that in mind, we are not taking sells on double tops. So look what the market is right now. The market gave us a good double top. I know there's a lot of stuff in the way, but if we look at this, what I have marked up as liquidity, that is a clean double top. It actually came a little bit higher, but the concept still remains the same, that there are people who are selling here and they've already actually gotten taken out here on this double top. So we did not take a sell on after this double top because it's going to get knocked out and we didn't really know where to put our stop loss. And this could have just kept on going. So we're not looking for sells, we're looking for buys. Having said that, where is the buys then? So as you can see here, I have my buy lined up down there. So what I like to do is wait for the market to come and hit liquidity and then go in the opposite direction. I know that there's liquidity up top where I have this green box, and I know there's liquidity on bottom. So ideally, this market should really want to come down and take out this liquidity and then find a place to buy up. That would be down here. I hate it when this happens right in the middle. Hold on. Sorry about that. My screen randomly goes off. Like your fault speakers changed. Okay, whatever. Okay, guys, back on it. Back on it. Sorry about that. Technical difficulties. Anyways, guys, look. So I'm hesitant to take this buy, okay, right here in this zone, but I will take it. Okay, let me delete this no trade zone. So for reference, guys, what I'm gonna start doing is I'm gonna start putting a box in the middle of this chart, in the middle of this consolidation zone to remind me that I'm not taking any trades within this zone. Okay. I want to play on the fringes. I want to play after liquidity has been taken. So I do see there's a pump up and there's a go. This is going to come down, and perhaps this is the retracement on the third leg of the Elliott wave, right? One, two, give me a good retracement to the 78.6. It actually closed above. You see it's rejected a couple times and then it went off. So that was probably a good entry spot right there. I'm going to be a little bit more patient and I'm going to put my entry on the 88.6 or just a few pips above the 88.6. All right about there. And if we start deleting some of this stuff, so now we know that this is the 88.6 and that's where this box is at. We can delete. So then a little more sauce on this downward push, the 61.8, which is the TP, it hit and it started rejecting. So that's giving me a little more confirmation that might be the turnaround spot. But if I come into a smaller time frame, I see what I call a kissing candle here. So for me, this is, some people call this a breaker block because this is an order block right here. And this is the candle that broke the order block right there. And so that is the area right in between that candle before it took off and really engulfed everything, right? So this little bitty area is of interest to me. If we zoom in on that area, this little consolidation area with these little candles right there. So that's right before it took off. So there's probably have trapped some people, some sellers who are thinking pullback, continuation sell. This is a pullback and a continue to sell. So that's a breaker block. Some people call it a trap candle. Also, I call it a kissing candle. That's the area I want to target. And this area is right inside of my sell zone, or my buy zone, and right at the 88.6. So if I'm going to put a buy in, I'm going to put a buy just a few pips above this, just to make sure that I get entered. And that's not a buy, that's a sell. Right about here. And then my stop loss would be then, if I fib this, as always, from top to bottom, from the low to the high, my stop loss is always 10%. All right. My TP1 can be the 236, but really, I want to target the top. I want to target this top liquidity right here. Okay. If this holds, if this is, let me draw this. If this is the low, and this is the low, and this is the low, and this trade actually works, it should break this top, right? Top, it should set a new high. So we need to have the confidence on this one. If we get an entry here, that once it gets, halfway up the ladder, somewhere around in this area, we can move to break even, but we really want to make sure that we hold until we have a good profit. Okay. So, I mean, for you, that could be the 236. And if it was, that would be a 2.5 to 1 risk. And maybe you take TP1 there, or just a percentage of TP, maybe not like a half, maybe like a quarter percent or something. And then you move to break even and you let the majority of this run to at least the extension, right? Which would be right here. So for NASDAQ, that's the only real thing that I see that makes sense. I'm not going to try to sell right now in this market that has been so bullish. Selling is not the right thing to do. We need to continue to buy. So this is a healthy retracement. Again, if we're going to look for buys, we need to make sure the liquidity has been taken out. If you see this candle here and this candle here, that was liquidity that got taken out. And now we could find this area as support and go on up. So that's what we're looking to do. Okay, US 30. Again, you have my no trade zone. We're already in buys. We still have runners. So I'm already in a buy from basically the bottom of that wick, and it's still running. And I'm in another buy from the bottom of this wick in here. So I'm in two buys. I'm protecting both, and I only have runners left. So I'm not looking to buy anymore right now. So the two things are going to happen. Either this is going to come up all the way up here. Okay, I'm going to delete this, delete these two buys. We need to clear some of this stuff up. Okay. So this is my no trade zone. I don't really care about this liquidity. I want this to get taken out. Okay. And I want the market to come up here. And here's the next block of liquidities right here. I want that to get taken out too. So I'm going to hold these buys until it gets all the way up into the sell zone. Once it gets up into the sell zone, like I have my red mark here, then I can start looking for sells, because at that point, if we come into the 2 hour, at that point, we would then be setting a double top. One, excuse me, wrong tool. We would be setting a double top. Okay. We can play double tops. That would be an M formation, right? M formation. We can play M formations all day long. That is in the rule book. Okay. If it breaks, if it breaks this and comes all the way up here, then that sell is no longer valid. We're going to need to use the RSI. We're going to need to use some market structure. We're going to need to look at some things before we automatically jump in that sell, especially because we're in buys. So if we're in buys, that would mean we're closing out those longs, which I probably won't do. I'll probably let them as insurance that if I do take a sell here, right, I'll keep these buys down here in case I lose this sell. These buys will still be active and basically hedge my losses on the sells. But I will be looking to sell entries above this no buy zone, and once this liquidity gets taken out. If that doesn't happen and this falls from here, takes me out of these trades, which is very possible because we've already had the third lunch on the trend line. 1, 2, 3 touch trend line. It's very possible this will come right down, in which case I'll be looking to buy more at my buy zone. How do we find the buy zone? It's pretty simple. We went from bottom to top, right? There's our fib zone. And if we look, we've got liquidity sitting in this area. We will have taken out all the liquidity from this trend line. And therefore, for us to be able to enter into a buy again, we would need this liquidity to get taken and then go. Okay. So we'll be looking for the RSI. We'll be looking for things once this liquidity is taken to confirm our buys down here in this zone. So not only do we have the fib zone from bottom to top, but if you also fib these moves, the sell side, you have the TPs lining right up with a 78.6. So it's giving us further confirmation that there's people would want to take profit right here, right below these wicks, right below these wicks. Right here is the TP. So we would TP here and then turn around. So we see that and we will be prepared for that. We are not interested in getting caught up in any kind of consolidation, any fuck around in the middle of the market. That's why I have this marked off as a no trade zone. We're already in buys, hold the buys. I'm not looking to do anything else until we get way up here. So this is something I'm going to start doing to remind myself and to remind the people who trade with me. We don't need all the trades. We need the best trades. And the best trades are sitting up here and down here. All right. So that's our strategy for US 30 going forward. Gold, there's nothing we can do. It's already to the moon. It hasn't broke structure. It hasn't started to show any sort of selling. Again, if you do look at the higher time frame, the TP for this last buy is way up here at 2,230. We're at 2179, so we still have a couple hundred pips to go up, but we don't know when this is going to turn around. So it's too late to buy and it's too early to sell. So we got to just sit on our hands. Okay. We'll look at this stuff real quick. AU took out liquidity. That was the buy zone. It got a little bit behind it, and I didn't take those buys. I'm not an AU trader, but that's the chart that I marked up for you guys last week. CAD I am in a buy in CAD and basically what I'm looking to do is for this price to bounce off the 38.2 in the much larger fib, but on the smaller fib, we're playing this buy and then rejection of the double bottom or rejection of this area for it to come back off. As you can see on the 12 hour, we are oversold. And I believe if you go down to like the 4 hour, we are divergent. Okay. So there's reasons to buy CAD there. Again, we're fibbing from this low to this high. And then we have our stop loss set appropriately. If it loses, it loses. But I think that's a pretty decent trade. And also we're just continuing a trend. You see we're in a bullish trend. This is just a pullback to give us a double bottom and then back off. So I'm cool with that. I don't trade EA, so I don't even know. Yeah, so EA, I guess I have it marked up for somebody else. If it gets a little bit lower, comes down and gives us one more touch, then you could be buying EA. I said possible sell area here, but it looks like that did not happen. It didn't get up high enough. Okay, so EA buys in a little bit. ECAD, I don't even know what the hell this is. I don't remember marking this up, so skip over that. EJ, I'm still in sales. As you guys know, we entered sales here. We took some profits. We got broken out. We went back into sales here. And we've also had a trend line break, so we're in good positions on EJ. EU, again, I haven't really looked at EU, but yeah, I don't know. I haven't even looked at really to think about it, but you can see that we've had a high. This structure broke. So if anything, yeah, I'd be looking for these sells again. So again, you have to just be patient. Maybe you could do a buy if you get a push down back to the trend line and you could fib this area for buy, but ultimately you'd want to sell. So if I was having to trade this pair, which I'm not having to, but if I was, I would fib that move up, see if you can get a good push down. Actually, look at this area right here. There's a nice little order block sitting right here, right? See if you can get a push down to break that order block and take out whatever liquidity is left in there. Retest this Fibonacci and trend line and buy that up until you get up into this area, which actually makes sense because the bottom of this fib is now the TP for that fib. So you could look for buys there and then sells off the top. GJ, let's see, 12-hour GJ. GJ might be turning around. It did break trend line, and it has set a low, a lower high, and a lower low. So for GJ, I would say you could measure this fib here to here, okay, and look to take sells in this area up here. Again, I'm not a super big EJ trader, so I'm not sure if it rejects the 61 or the 78 or whatnot, But if you want to be safer, put your cells around the 78.6, and then your target would be probably some down here where this is at. So you're definitely your TP1. Your TP1 would be the bottom of this consolidation zone here for a double bottom. But you want a TP1 there, which is a clean five, almost a 5-to-1 trade. But reality, look at this gigantic fair value gap, right? Look at this. You have a huge fair value gap from here to there. So you'd want to target this area down there. All right. You'd want to target that area for your TP. And it lines up right with the 78.6 on another fib. So that's cool. I would try that. I would wait for this little pullback on GJ and try to short it all the way down there, and you'd have a monster trade. GU, I think I lost. Yeah, I lost GU because I was playing these tops for rejection. And again, what's the cardinal mistake is don't enter at liquidity. What did I do? I entered at liquidity. No big deal. I didn't over risk. So now I'm just going to wait for this to come up a little bit higher and see if it'll touch this top or see if what happens in this little area. Again, you do have what I would consider a fair value gap here, this gigantic candle with no retracement. And maybe it comes into this area and then it starts to short off. So I'll be looking for GU shorts later in the week once this pushes up a little higher. UCAD, we're in shorts, and I took another entry on the trendline break. I think I got knocked out on the second entry, which is no big deal because my original entry is still up here. And again, the way we found that is we had an order block, which is this guy. We fibbed it from top to bottom. We saw we had the 78.6 here. We could see with this arc that momentum was starting to wane, wasn't quite as strong. And so we took the sell and then we got a nice push down. On the 4 hour, it might look a little better with the RSI. Yeah. So in the 4 hour, we're getting tops of the RSI. We're starting top, 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 and not getting any good retracements below. So we jumped in that trade. Dollar Swiss franc, I haven't even messed with and I haven't marked it up in a while. So this analysis is probably not the best, but as you can see, it's Elliott waving up. Perhaps you could probably find a buy since this is so aggressive. Find a buy in this area after this liquidity pops off, and then look for sells up higher. UJ, UJ, I'm waiting. As soon as the market opens on UJ, I'm taking a buy. All right, so let's check this out. UJ did technically break trend with the trend line, but it hasn't broke this low yet. And that's the real order block in this situation right here. So we had the fair value gap. Okay. We also had liquidity sitting here. So the market came down, took out that liquidity, and filled in this fair value gap. Okay. This is the little order block, the little block of candles that it did before it broke. And that's exactly what it just tested right there. So right on the 88.6. So since it's hit the 88.6 and pushed off twice, and these is 4 hour candles, as soon as this market opens, I'm going to jump in a trade and try to hit UJ. So if we think about that, that means the dollar is buying up. Let's look at the dollar. Look at that sell off of the dollar on the 4 hour. We can go to the daily. I like to look at the DXY on the daily. And after a sharp push like that, perhaps we're looking for now a buy. We've had, again, look at liquidity areas in support structure zones, support and resistance zones, excuse me. It came down and tested it and is pushing back off. So perhaps it's just getting into this order block that it had here and going to push back up. So I like the buys on the U's on the front side, and if you use on the back side, like GUs, the sells. Again, that's why I'll be looking for GUs sells later on. I'll be looking for the GU to push up, which means, excuse me, the DXY to push up, which means the GUs will be pushing down. So I'll be looking for the U's buys on UJs. Seems to make sense. I'm willing to take that little bit of risk for that little bit of profit, which is a solid 3-to-1 trade. Okay, guys, that's all I have. Oh, before we go, we'll just take a look at crypto. It's basically going through the moon, as I'm sure you guys will already know. Bitcoin has a little bit of slowdowns, and it's actually double topping right now, right? Double topping all-time highs. So there's perhaps a chance to see some reversals here. But as a lot of people are starting to sell, there might be a lot of people continuing to buy. So this could continue to push. There's a lot of liquidity probably sitting at this area right here. Ethereum is going through the roof, as you can see, and it's already broken this high. So I would expect to see some sort of push down and then back to the bulls. Solana, I'm all stoked about Solana. Look at this. to the room. Again, broke this high. I'm stoked on that. I'm stoked on Cardano. These are the ones that I'm majorly in. Cardano, Polkadot. Here's dot right here. Again, look at the strong structure. And if you reset this view, you can see it has the same patterns. It went sideways, it broke the highs, and now it's hopefully gone because look at Solana did the same thing. See the purple? That was the high, consolidated, broke the highs, and says adios amigos, and was gone. And so the same thing with Cardano. That was the high area. It broke it, retested it, and gone. So I'm hoping those are the 3 ones. Bitcoin, 4 ones. Bitcoin, Ethereum, 5 ones. Shit. Solana, Dot, and Cardano that I'm in. I don't get into much other cryptos besides those. I do have XLM, XLR, whatever, all those other ones, but those are the ones I'm more heavily invested in, and it seems to be they're all doing good. So I'm excited about that. That is the end of the video today, guys. Please like, please share. Remember, guys, I don't do any signals. I don't do a charge for classes. I don't do any of that. I only ask that you guys subscribe to the videos, and that helps me out. Unfortunately, my camera's gone. All right, guys, have a good night.